Hello, and welcome to another episode of Profound. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus, and I just want to say I'll probably be back more because I have more time, I'm done work, and I definitely have more free time, so I can be talking about whatever I want to talk about. And I think today, honestly, might be a good day to talk about the power of psychedelics and what they really, the benefits they truly offer, and what they really do to people. Myself personally, I've experienced around with some certain substances, and I've found a lot of profound experiences that have come from them that have taught me a lot of lessons that I probably wouldn't have learned without them. In freshman year, I wrote a paper about the decriminalization of psychedelics, and it was a 7-page position paper. And this is when my curiosity really sparked, because I was like, these substances show so much medical potential and so much potential to help people. They were showing like a 50% decrease in major depressive disorder, and they were seeing around like a 40 to 50% decrease in symptoms of PTSD when they use MDMA for these veterans who have all these post-traumatic experiences. So I'll actually go into the science of that later. And then you have these people with this end-of-life anxiety, people with cancer that just can't cope with their dying. They give them a dose of psilocybin, and they become okay with dying, and they come to the true nature of like who they are. Because I think everyone needs this sort of mystical experience in their life to tell them that there is something more than just the day-to-day mundanity of what life seems to be. And that this day-to-day mundanity is the most special thing ever, and that's what psychedelics act as the teacher for, showing you why all these things are so special, the intricacies of every single thing around you, and the intricacies of just like a simple rock. One rock needs to be formed over thousands of years by hitting against water, and the really smooth ones, they seem so boring and they have no personality, but they're so smooth because they've just been underwater for so long, or they've been getting formed for so long, but they look so simple. So like the simplest things even have the most amazing stories, even just a rock. And it really shows to how people look at life. A lot of people that are pessimistic, I think, need to experience psychedelics, because I think it opens up this whole new arena of looking at things as they're more special than you've ever thought they were, and there's like a glow coming from everything, and you kind of realize why the game is so special. I know I keep reiterating that it's special, but that's the feeling it really gives you. And the reason they give it to these people with depression, and why the studies are so prevalent, is because people with depression are stuck in the same thought loop over and over and over again, and they're constantly like living the same day over and over and over again. Like realistically, if you think about it, there's no difference between any of the days. It's just like we put like weeks and labels on that, but everything is just one day. So you could technically just be living the same day over and over and over again, just like in the same cycle. And what psychedelics do is they destroy what's called your default brain mode network. And your default brain network is your mind-wandering day-to-day thoughts. It's like almost like, think of it as your ego. Like it's like how you normally operate. And whenever you're thinking about something, whenever your mind's wandering. And then what psychedelics do is they kind of just completely dismantle this default mode network, and they put you in a state where you're not, what happened yesterday, what happened the day before isn't even relevant, because it's not even a topic on your mind. Your mind is completely in this alternate thought, like headspace, where you're now looking, you could think you're God looking into your own life. It's like you've kind of like put a little pause button on being you for a second, and now you can be something else, or you can just let your soul roam free. And I think that's what gives people this, like, people have to confront their subconscious demons, and when they literally process this, and psilocybin comes in, the mushroom, it talks to people, and it comes in, and it tells people what is the issue. And some people, they fight, and when they fight, it just gets harder. But when the person learns to let go, and then that's when they are truly free of all those chains that they've been holding on to. And I think most people, they come out of the experience, even if it wasn't a pleasant experience, 6 months later they said it's an experience that they needed to have in their life. And that's the true case. They can be challenging, especially to people with like depression and anxiety, but that is what's so important, to put yourself through some sort of hurdle or challenge that can break you out of such a disadvantageous cycle, the cycle of depression and anxiety. And well, I can go into MDMA real quick. They've been using it to study PTSD, because when these veterans are trying to think about this traumatic memory from wherever it was, or they have a bunch of like traumatic memories, it literally pains them to look back at that. They can't look at it because they go into so much pain and shock and trauma. So they give them MDMA, which opens up these serotonin pathways, and it creates this elevated state of like mood. Like your mood is like through the roof. You're like the most jolly and happy you could ever be, and nothing can really destroy that. So when they have these guided discussions with doctors and they're like, can you tell me about this event? And they're tripping dick on Molly, and they're like, oh, I remember that, and they can go into their memory and they can see those memories again, so they can process it. So they can, it's not too painful to look back at it. They can just process this in the moment, and it gives them this satisfaction and conclusion to a moment that could be so harming in their life. But the MDMA allows them to look at this moment in a positive light and a way to conclude a memory that's been haunting them for years. And it's actually shown tremendous results. And I was going to the end-of-life anxiety as well, and these people have this like mystical experience, and they realize that they're not alone and that they're connected to everything else. So when they die, they just feel like they're becoming a part of everything again. And it gives people like a holistic outlook on the universe. You start to see how everything is connected and works together. You become really introspective, and you realize that your inner world and your outer world are kind of like reflections of each other, and that becomes even more prevalent while you're tripping, because your outer world actually can morph and change based on your inner world and what you're thinking. So that balance becomes even more prevalent just when you're in that moment. You can kind of get a gauge on like what you're thinking inside, because like it kind of feels like everything's calling out to you. Like you're looking at a bush, and a bush just has like this like personality, and you like understand, like it's like calling like for you to just like look and just be aware. So I'm thinking, when these people are in these like hospital beds and they have these things over their eyes, it's a completely internal experience. So the experience of the psychedelic is amplified, because it's literally just an internal experience. You can't just ground yourself by just being outside. You're in like an almost like a designed happening to solve whatever subconscious issues are there. The shrooms kind of like come in, and they're just like we need to fix you, and we don't care if it hurts. And the thing, if not done under proper circumstances, or with a person that can be there for like a reassurance, like these can be extremely harmful. And that's when the dangers of like what the government used to do come in, with like CIA's MK Ultra, where they gave people LSD and all these psychedelics, and they would torture them, and they tried to mind control them and like reset their brains almost, so they became like dull and they didn't even know who they were. Like some people just didn't even know who they were after they were experimented on. But that's like the real dangers of like psychedelics in the wrong hands, and why people can use like a medicine against the people, and then stigmatize it, and then say it's like a drug that no one should do, and that it's illegal, and put some sort of stigma against it. Obviously, anything done in non-moderation and done to extremes isn't good. Nothing in extremes is good. Even drinking too much water isn't good. You could drink so much water that it fucking kills you. Like, people gotta understand this shit, bruh. And I'm just a proponent that everyone needs a sort of mystical experience to open up a sense of awe and engagement in the world around them. It opens up this whole new arena of sensation and just appreciation for everything. It amplifies gratitude, and it connects you with nature. You feel like you are part of nature instead of separate, which we are part of nature because we are animals just like everything else. But we live in our houses and we kill the insects around our house, so we don't have to think that we're a part of it. But we just evolved from the same ancestors as they did. But we're just scared to admit it. And we kind of hide from that truth, that we're connected to everything that we're destroying, and it's slowly killing us. And some of the things that exist in it might be trying to give us a message that's more ancient than we ever are, and has been here for a lot longer than us. I know I didn't touch on everything in this episode. I think this is just a base entry for psychedelics, which I could talk about for a while. Let's just call this Psychedelics Episode 1. We didn't even touch on DMT, ayahuasca, peyote, the history of psychedelics, any of that. So that's stuff we will cover on future episodes. And I thank you for being here, and bye.